I'm trying to think how I can frame this. Would it be judgmental for me to recommend to other men that they should not date women with a high body count? Is that worse than just my own internal personal preference? Would it be worse for me to say, hey, other men out there, I don't think you should date women with a high body count? Is that
if you think about it, like, men have really high sex drives, so it's like those men with really high sex drives, your compatible partner is a woman with a really high sex drive.
Well, there's a difference between high sex drive and high body count.
Yes and no. Like, someone with a high sex drive who's not in a relationship will most likely have a high body count.
A woman could have one sexual partner and have a sex drive, high sex drive.
Yeah, but then you're dating and you're in a relationship at that point.
But I'm failing to see the connection between. So if you have a high sex drive as a man,
and you're single.
If you have a high sex drive as a man, you should pair off with a woman with a high body count.
No, not necessarily, but you shouldn't put her down or tell other men not to, because if their sex drives are that high and they're looking for a woman with a high sex drive, what do you expect?
That's an interesting point, Brian. Do you think that if a woman has a low body count, she has a low sex drive?
No.
It doesn't correlate.
It doesn't. There's no correlation.
That's fair.
Okay.
I don't.
But the possibility is there too for the higher sex drive with the higher body count.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense.
That's true. So you just assume she has more self-control.
I don't think I'm willing to. A woman having a high sex drive is not a compelling enough reason for me to date or pursue a woman with a high body count. So.
Okay.
I also wouldn't date a man with a high body count, so I don't disagree.
But this whole judgmental thing. So, kind of judgmental for a guy to not want to date a woman with a high body count. For you, I think most of you were like, but I think some of you were like, yes, it is judgmental to tell other men to not date women with a high body count.
Yeah, because you're going out of your way to be like.
I'm not being mean about it. I'm just saying, hey, that's probably not a good bet for.
I don't think that's judgmental. What's judgmental would be like, oh, I'm not going to date you because you have a high body count. Like, if you're saying that directly to someone, that's what's judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that this comes down to the shaming language that is often met with men's preferences, standards, and boundaries. Insecure, controlling, you're judgmental. Again, men's preferences, standards, and boundaries are always going to be under attack. Nobody has any issues. Nobody bats an eye when a woman says, I want a guy who's this tall, I want a guy who's this fit, I want a guy whose dick is this big, I want XYZ in a partner, I want a guy who makes this much money, I want a guy who's funny, I want a guy who's charismatic. But when a guy says, I don't want a girl with high body count, I want a woman who's feminine and pleasant and who's going to bring me peace and all these things, it's always, I want a woman who doesn't go out to bars and clubs and parties, etc. It's always met with some sort of shaming language, contempt, etc.
I can see that.
Women tell other women all kinds of reasons why you shouldn't date other men. Women have all kinds of preferences, standards, and boundaries when it comes to the men that y'all date. Y'all have I'd say women, I think we can all agree, I hope we can agree on this one. I think women, probably for biological reasons, because if you get pregnant, that's evolutionary psychology, because of the higher burden on women when it comes to selecting a mate, selecting a partner. I think women are biologically more likely to be selective. They're more selective and they're more picky when it comes to who they date, who they sleep with. So women have long lists of things that they want in a partner. But when men have a couple things that we care about, oh my God, judgment.
I think it's fine to have preferences as a guy. I think everyone should have like preferences and standards and boundaries.
But why is it judgmental?
I don't think it is personally.
Why is it judgmental?
What? To not.
You said it's kind of, or I think it was so why is it judgmental?
I just feel like it's okay to have boundaries with certain things, but it depends what the topic is.
Yeah, body count.
I feel like in regards to something like body count, there's so many circumstances and stuff that plays into it, and a lot of the logic and the rhetoric behind supporting not wanting a woman with a high body count is kind of just like a lot of misogynistic stuff. Like, I don't know, like the whole key in the lock thing, or like saying that like there's more value in certain things like that. I just feel like the whole perspective behind it is all kind of like wrong.
Well, yeah, and what is a high body count? Is it 5? Is it 20? Is it 100?
Yeah,
like,
it's also
it's all
like,
personal.
Yeah, it's
I
all like
guess.
different to everyone too.
Yeah.
I mean, why is it misogynistic? How is it misogynistic to care about a woman's body count?
I think it's misogynistic to say that like there's a difference between the weight that a woman's body count holds and a man's body count, because I think that at the end of the day, like, sex is sex. If a man is having sex with a woman, it holds the same weight as like a woman having sex with a man.
Well, but okay, this comes back to, and again, like, I don't think it's misogynistic to use an analogy to try to better articulate or communicate a point. I think the reason that it's judged differently is because the ease with which that men and women can get sex. So again, and I'm prepared to have a debate on it, but you guys haven't given me much pushback. So my position is that it's very, very easy for women to get laid. Comparatively speaking, it's hard for men to get laid. If you have arguments to counter that position, I'm prepared to hear them. But if you're just going to allow me to assert the position, and I haven't heard any contrary opinion, if it is the case that it's harder for men to get laid and it's very easy for women to get laid, then it does lend itself to the view that if something is difficult, that's going to be revered to some degree. That's going to be impressive to people, whereas if something's very easy, that's not impressive. So that's why it's like, for men who get laid a lot, which is, it's rather a difficult thing for men to do, that might be viewed as like, wow, you have game. But women need not have game or money or status or even be physically attractive to just like have constant sex. You just need to make yourself available and you can get laid. I mean, so for a man to get laid, he needs to be bringing something, either his personality, his looks, his status, or something, his riz, his game. Women don't need game. You don't need game to get laid.
I feel like that's oversimplifying it though for women too, because I feel like it seems like you're more under the assumption that like every woman can get laid, but like I have like known like so many people, like women who are my age, who are literally like virgins, and it's not by choice. Like, it's simply because like there aren't options for them, and there's like genuinely like nobody that's pursuing them, and like they'll put themselves out there, they'll go out with me, it's like the same things. I just think that it's all situational, and then bringing shame into something that depends so much on a situation is something which is just unnecessary in my opinion.
Are those people you're referring to, would they say they're heterosexual, or would they say they're a lesbian?
I've seen it all like sides of the spectrum on sexuality.
Because it's interesting if you're a lesbian, and it's harder for a lesbian to get a woman to. If it's harder for lesbians to be sluts than it is for like heterosexual women to be sluts, that's kind of a twist. Because the idea is women are more selective, and so if you're pursuing women, then it
sure,
would
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, and what is interesting to me, so you're saying women that, I mean, what I would say is that, again, we're not speaking about relationships, because we're speaking about strictly just getting laid, getting sex, right? So you're telling me that there are 18-year-old women that to me, it's not, if they wanted to get laid, they could. They're just waiting for the right guy. They want to find the perfect guy or some shit.
But like genuinely, like, I don't think you understand, like, no play. Like, I'm telling you, like, because there are genuinely girls out there which, like, I would say do struggle with finding guys who are interested in them, and like do they have any guys in the friend zone, these women? No, I would not say so. I think it's genuinely like a lack of interest, and I think
Are they on dating apps?
I'd say that I've known women who have actually like genuinely tried to put themselves out there, and it does not work. I just feel like the issue is being like overly simplified, and then bringing shame into an issue that's being overly simplified.
Well, here, I'll come to that in just a
Samsara
sec.
donated $99. Crazy how every 304 knows a 304 who can't find a man of get sex. I wonder why.
What?
Can't find a man of get sex?
Can't find a man or get sex.
Can't find a man or get sex. I'm wondering why. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Well-
I would say because these women are young, they're 18. I mean, it could be because obviously, like some people, that's around the time people first start dating. I know some people will start dating in high school and stuff, but I mean, you're still living with your parents. You're at home. That obviously can complicate things.
How many people do you know?
Do I know?
Yeah, you're what, 34, right? How many people have you come past? Millions, probably, right?
Thousand, yeah, a ton.
How many people have you come across in 18 years of life?
Into the mic if you're gonna.
I don't know, probably like
You would say a lot less than
I would say like
what, like
700.
14 years of experience, right? I'm 26. I've been to 30 countries. I've seen a lot of people. But being 18, the pool of people that you're interacting with, it's a lot smaller than someone that's a little bit older. If we can kind of think that way.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think the thing is that I don't know what the average age of people like losing their virginity is, but like I'd say like most women, if you're a virgin, like your primary goal probably, some women just want to lose it. I get that. But I would assume that the girls that you're saying are struggling to even get laid, they are probably, one, not down to just hook up immediately. I assume they want to they don't want it to just be a one-night stand, so they probably, I mean, you know them better, right? Do they want to just fuck any dude?
I just feel like a lot of these girls, it's like they're like actually looking for like just genuinely somebody who's interested in them, and there's nobody that's interested. It's not about like fucking, it's like somebody who's actually like interested, like to pursue that. And there's like nobody that's interested.
But so the conversation we're having is strictly about getting sex, getting laid. And if their standard is, well, I want a boyfriend, I want a relationship.
There's nobody interested in having sex with them. That's what I'm saying. Like there's nobody that is pursuing that and like trying to like make that happen.
So you're saying that
then like their attempts are like not working out.
You're saying of your female friends, there are no guys even pursuing them for casual sex. Are they open to casual sex?
I'm just saying up? I've met people who like
You've
that
met
is
people.
the case.
I thought
like,
you said friends.
Like friends who.
Can you show me a photo right now of the girl?
I'm very curious to see a photo. I'm very curious.
Can you show me a photo? Because
no, I won't show you.
No, not on the camera. Just show me right here.
No.
Why not?
Know of a girl that knows of a girl.
She knows a girl who knows a girl.
That
like
knows another one.
No, I've just genuinely like known people, and I feel like it's not. I don't know. I feel like bringing like their looks into it and then like shaming them for that is like a whole other thing. Or
I'm
being
not
like, oh,
trying
this.
to shame them.
I know, but like bringing their looks into it. I just think my stance on the issue is that there are genuinely girls who do struggle with getting laid, and I think that simplifying the issue down to saying
it's so impossible. It's just it's impossible
not
to struggle.
impossible.
It's not impossible. Impossible is a strong word.
No, it's like you. A below average girl can go download a dating app. Within a 24-hour period, you have 100 messages of guys who are down to fuck. This whole, I'm sorry to call it bullshit on this, but like they just really haven't tried. You just download Tinder. You don't have to message any of the guys. They'll message you. You have 100 guys that are DTF within 24 hours.
One picture. 100%.
You said they're on dating apps. Either they're way too picky, their standards are too high, they're waiting for love, they're waiting for a long-term relationship. I don't think most women want to lose their virginity to a one-night stand.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but like
okay,
I think
but we're talking
it's situational though.
Right, but if we remove like the obviously like I feel like for for most women, they probably don't want to just, when it comes to losing their virginity, they probably want to lose it to a guy that they at least somewhat care about and that he somewhat cares about them. So if we remove that cohort of people from this discussion, because we can talk about these like exceptional cases, but like if you take group of people that have had sex, yes, it's harder for men to get laid than it is for women to get laid.
So what are you saying? So you're saying that, I mean, I would agree that it is harder for men to get laid than women, but I don't think that there's like a very stark difference.
There's a huge difference.
I'd say it depends on like how attractive you are, because I'd say that I'd say my stance on it is that if there's like an ugly man and an ugly woman, I think it would be equally as hard for both of them to get laid.
No.
But if it was an
not.
attractive man and an attractive woman,
we have to find this clip.
Different.
Nick, can you find the clip? It's I'm gonna see if I can find it. It's I'm trying to think. It might be on my Twitter. 6 dudes one night. Oh God, I don't know if that's it.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. So just in YouTube, 6 dudes one night, and then there's a whatever second clip.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's Madison. Madison was on that episode.
My very first whatever episode.
So I would actually argue that the difference got
to a point where...
Oh, hold on. We'll let this come through. And
Bender the Offender donated $99. Noodle Hair over here is trying to claim that here female friends are incels. You do realize that since they control sexual access, they decide when to lose their virginity.
First of all, I love noodles. I love noodles, girl.
I mean, honestly, I just think that the whole, like, my stance on it is just that I wouldn't say that they're, like, I don't know. I just think that there's not a stark difference in, like, how hard it would be for, like, an ugly woman and an ugly man.
Pete Lilab donated $100. Hi, Brian. I loved whatever 10 years ago. Thank you for making a great comeback with this channel by making these very relatable podcasts. Can you bring Andrea back? None of these chicks have asked 100 guys for sex. Bring OG Andrea back if you're
we could pull up that video maybe, but yo, Patelli Lab, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I actually invited Andrea to come be on the podcast, but it's not going to happen. Nick, can you play the video, por favor?
Yeah, is this the one?
Yes. Go for it.
Point where like I was 19 and I got kicked out of my house because I was like bringing over 6 dudes a night. Like it just was never enough. Enough was never enough. So yeah.
What? Wait, 6 dudes a night?
For like a consecutive week, yeah.
So 6 times 30? Wait,
my math is dog shit, by the way.
Yeah.
And how were you meeting these guys?
Usually dating apps. I have like a hard time approaching men. I usually just wait until they approach me.
So like, would you slot them in like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m.?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then I would even,
No, go ahead.
I'd say I would even like have like my backup guys to where it was like, if this guy didn't come tonight, then I would invite this guy. And then if he did come, if the first guy did come, then I'd tell the other guy, oh, I'm busy, like I can't, make it or whatever.
You can pause it, Nick. So that was a woman we had on the show. She's pretty average. She's actually, I'm not saying this to be mean, she's overweight, just as a statement of fact. You heard it from her mouth. She was, for a week straight, 6 dudes a night. My math was off on that. What's 6 times?
Too many.
It's been a minute since I took calculus. Okay. That's an average. Like her male. Could you pull it up? Again, we're not going to watch the clip. Oh, did you close it out or? Okay. Her male looks equivalent. So like average looking dude who's overweight. You have to be fucking Post Malone, or like, you have to be, I don't know how rich and famous you have to be to fuck 6 women a night while being her looks equivalent. But there's not just like overweight, average-looking men that can do this.
Rob Kardashian.
I'm not saying this to be mean to her. We're having a conversation about it. As a very matter of fact, she's an average-looking woman. She's overweight. I'm not making fun of her for her weight. It's just a statement of fact. She's got a lovely pink sweater. Okay.
Great personality.
Wonderful. Yeah. I mean,
Clearly.
yes. So her male looks equivalent. I don't care. I don't know what universe it is not sleeping with 6 women in a day. Your 18-year-old friends, 19-year-old friends, whatever, that are virgins, if they wanted to, could get laid tonight. But they probably want something more than just to get laid, which is good. I think that's fine. But we're having a conversation about the judgment, the differences when it comes to judgment with body count, and you saying that there's it's kind of about the same, like an average guy or a below average guy, and the below average women are going to be able to get sex at the same rate is just.
Well, why do you think that now, like, it should be like that a high body count is undesirable for because I get what you're saying, that like there is a certain level of like praise that may come with like a man, like of like, let's just say a lower look standard, who can pull to that extent. But like, why would you say that now a woman should be shamed for having a higher body count?
I don't think,
or
well,
like
let's
less desirable.
Sure. I think it's important we define our terms. Should she be shamed? Is shame such a bad thing? But I mean, because how else do you do if we are, let me ask you a question, right? Is hookup culture bad?
Yes.
We'll go around.
Yes and no.
Honestly, like some aspects of it, but it's unavoidable, so.
It's unavoidable?
Yeah, like with today's day and age, I feel like.
But maybe we can reclaim the culture. Maybe we can take back the culture and start shifting things towards people valuing relationships, towards people valuing monogamy, towards people valuing not just having a string of casual sexual partners that don't give a fuck about you, and actually returning to a point where if you have sex with somebody, at the very least, they should like you. At the very least, they should want to pursue something more.
Amen.
Do you is hookup culture good or bad?
Both.
Okay, all right. Why is it bad? What are the bad things about hookup culture?
I'm in like the air just because like personal preference.
Are you a juggler? Can we get her some balls? Yeah. That was some like juggling. No. You have very good technique. You should become a juggler.
But I don't know. I'm just in there because like.
Keep going.
You're making me lose my thought. Just because like it's all personal preference. Like you could want to be in a relationship and not hook up with a lot of people, and then there's some people that gain a lot of validation from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do any girls here want to?
I don't like hookup culture. I don't think that it really plays into like my own ideals in a relationship for my future. And I think that a lot of women actually get manipulated into hookup culture by men, personally, because I've been called prude. I've been told I don't put out, like, as a negative thing. So.
I don't know. Is it a W for women to just like sleep with a bunch of men that don't give a fuck about you, that just want to use you for your body? Like, is that really a W? It's like, sure, in the short term, it's short-term pleasure seeking. And honestly, like, I don't know if this is too, like, do most women actually get, I don't know, sexual pleasure in a one-night stand? Like, are most men like preoccupied with like making you come, making sure, like, I don't know, like me personally, if the first time I'm with a girl, I want to try to make her come, but some guys just don't give a fuck. I don't know. So, like, you're not busting a nut. As a girl, you're not climaxing.
Yeah, is
it really a W to just fuck a bunch of dudes? Like, I don't get it.
I mean, not a W, but it works.
For what? What do you mean it works?
Validation.
But you should get. I think you should get your validation internally.
I'm not saying that's me, but like I can see.
Yeah, sure. It's bad though. to get your validation externally from some guy that doesn't give a fuck about you. He's just fucking
That's
you.
a part of the brainwash.
It's a part of like, I guess, issues some girls may have had in the past that affect how they get attention now.
Like daddy
TikTok
issues.
brain.
Yeah, probably like daddy
TikTok
issues.
brain.